Hello everyone, welcome to It's Crochet O'Clock. My name is Stephanie and today we have a yarn review of a newer yarn. It was released a couple months ago by Cascade Yarns and it's called Cartwheel. And here is an example of one of their shades. They have 17 different shades, but we're going to get to those in just a minute. If you're not familiar with Cascade Yarns, they were founded in the late 80s in Seattle, and today it is still based in Seattle, and it is still a family-owned and operated business. So I am a huge fan of family-owned businesses, so I really like Cascade Yarns because they've been able to keep it in the family. I got this yarn over a month ago. I got it on May 16th, and I have waited this long to do this review because I have very mixed feelings about it. So I'm going to go over some of the good that I thought about this yarn, and then I'm going to go over some of the bad things that I thought about this yarn. First, it's 100% acrylic yarn, and it is made in China. And you will see that there is no indication here of what size yarn this is. When I first got it, I've taken quite a bit off of the ball here because I have worked some of it just to see how it worked up. When I first got it, my first strands, when I was holding it, I really thought that it was a DK weight. And then when I started working into it, I realized that it's actually a roving yarn. So then I went to the website, and the website says that it is a number 5 weight yarn or a bulky weight yarn. So that is a little bit misleading. I do not like that they don't put the information on the skein sleeve here. If you're not familiar with what a roving yarn is, roving yarns change size as you go through, and it doesn't look like it does right here, but I can show you here in this little swatch that I have worked up. This is, the white is Paint Box Aran weight yarn, and then the top is of course this new Cartwheel yarn, and you can see this is just regular granny stitches. You can see the difference in the size of the stitches there. This is the same hook throughout. You see how small this one is, and then you see how big this one right here is, and it changes as you work through the yarn, a lot like Red Heart Unforgettable. It's very widely known that it is a roving yarn. Sometimes it gets so thin that you're afraid that you're going to break your yarn as you're working. Sometimes it gets so thick that you consider changing your hook size. Let me see if I can get in here to show you a good example. See how the different sizes of the yarn are. Red Heart Unforgettable is an extreme example of roving yarn. You see how thin that one is right there compared to that one right there. There's a very big difference in roving yarns. But this one, I mean, it's very odd how it works up. So I was a little bit disappointed with that because I kind of like the same, well, I was expecting to be able to have the same size stitches going through the entire project. So obviously it is not going to work. I was going to make a granny blanket out of this with granny squares, but that's not going to work because of the differences with the weight as it goes through. So I just wanted to point that out because, you know, there is when Shapey whirls, everybody thinks, oh, I love Shapey whirls, they're so beautiful. And then when they get their first one, if they haven't been in the yarny community, they don't know that as the colors transition, there's a little ball of fuzz or a length of fuzz that you have to trim off from where the colors are joined. So they get very upset about that because it's an expensive yarn and they were not expecting it. So I think that the people that know about that before they get their first whirls are, you know, they're not as disappointed when that time comes in their project. So just so you know, this is a roving yarn. It does change. Price wise, this yarn is not cheap for what it is. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it has so many different color options, but listen, I ran to my local yarn store because we had just done a video. I had unboxed Knit Crate, and I actually have the yarn right here. I had unboxed this marled yarn, and I was laying in bed watching TV, and suddenly I went, gosh, wouldn't it be nice if somebody made a unicorn marled yarn to be able to work through? That would just be beautiful. And then the next day, my local yarn store, she went live on Facebook and was showing all kinds of her new stock, and she skimmed over this, and I went, oh, it's unicorn yarn. So I took off and I went to go and get it. I paid $10.82 USD for this at my local yarn store. Now, you can buy this at online retailers. Love Crochet has it for $10.29 USD on their website. But this ball is 328 yards. So that makes this 0.031 cents per yard. Now, compared to Paint Box Aran weight yarn, you can buy that one ball for $2.69 for 201 yards, or 0.013 cents per yard. Stylecraft Special Aran weight, you can buy that on Wool Warehouse for about $2.19 USD for 214 yards, and that is 0.010 cents per yard. So this is quite expensive when it comes to acrylic yarn. So let's see the color options. There are 17 different colorways in this specific line, and they are all named after cities in the US. And the first one is Seattle, of course, because that's where their headquarters is. The second one is Atlanta, and then Juneau, and then Raleigh, which is this colorway right here. Then we have Portland, Pensacola, Lincoln, Los Angeles, San Diego, Nashville, Santa Fe, Cheyenne, Sioux Falls, Chicago, Houston, Columbus, and Frankenmuth. And I hope that I said that right, but Frankenmuth is in Michigan. So there are a lot of different colorways to choose from. One thing that may or may not happen to you, I was speaking on my live video because when I went and bought this, I went live in my Facebook group to show everybody about it. And then I went live again after I had actually worked with it to express, you know, my concerns with it. This yarn, well, mine anyways, is very, very slick to the touch whenever you touch it. And I just thought that perhaps it was the fiber and the way that the fiber was coated, because it is plastic, it's acrylic. But then, you know, something happened, and I think I had an itch on my lip or something like that. But anywho, I touched my mouth, and this is coated with just some horrible something. And I was speaking with Chantel. She was in my live video when I was doing it, Chantel from Fiberific, and she pointed out that, you know, the machines that our fibers run through when they're balling the yarn and doing all of that, they're oiled, and perhaps, you know, some of the oil might have gotten on my particular yarn. So I don't know if, you know, you guys will experience that, but I did. And because of that, I am not actually going to be using this yarn. I'm probably just going to throw it away, because I can even feel it on my fingers. It's very grease-like. And I didn't realize it until I had worked 2 whole rows of granny stitches in this blanket, and then it's not great. But the colors are beautiful, and I will say that the transitions when I was going through here, I don't know if I can rip this. Let me pull some of this yarn. See, and it's soft when compared to other acrylic yarns. It's not as soft as Stylecraft acrylics, definitely not as soft as Paint Box acrylics, but it's definitely softer than Red Heart. I would say that it is not as soft as Karen Simply Soft. I'm just trying to get to a color transition here. Pulling out this. I should have done this beforehand, I apologize, but I had already ripped out that's purple and pink right now. I'm trying to get to a color transition to see, because it's been, you know, over a month since I've worked with this yarn, so I can't remember how the actual transition went. Oh, come on. We're still in purple and pink. Come on. I keep getting hooked up on my hand. Almost, I think. Let's see. Real quick. Purple and pink. I really want to show you guys a transition here. Oh, well, I guess we did. We missed a transition because there's blue and then there's Lordy. Well, that's good. That one was so subtle that I didn't even notice it. See the blue. Trying to go very slowly now because I see that that's still the same. See, I already missed it. So, anywho, with the I can tell that it definitely goes from purple to blue while staying in pink, and the pink is getting lighter. You can definitely see this is definitely purple and definitely pink, and now it's going to blue and a light pink. So the transitions are rather nice in it. It's kind of it's a marled yarn, because these strands, if I spin it out, you can see that these are actually different strands here, and that's what marled yarn is. Like this one is independently dyed, and then this one is independently dyed, and this one is independently dyed. That's what marled means, and then they're spun together to create our yarn. So it's kind of unique because it's a marled yarn, but it's also a variegated marled yarn, and they've done very, very well with the transition colors. So that is Rally, the colorway Rally Cartwheel from Cascade Yarns. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and thank you for watching.